We go.
Okay, the selectmen just called their meeting to order. The time is 6:16. I'm gonna call the Stratton, this is the February 2025 school board meeting to order. And in person, oh, here we go. Kent Young, town clerk, Allison Peterson, town treasurer, Devin Marcucci, school board, Melissa Walker, school board, Kelly DeLeo Laskin, school board, myself, school board, Greg Marcucci, selectman, Boomer Walker, selectman, Al Dupel, selectman, that's who are present. Online, you have Heidi Russ from Wyndham Central, Joe Frigo, who is one of our board members, Meredith Block, our recorder, and Candy Bernard, our town lister. Okay, so, right? That's done. Yeah, okay. That was a lot. Number one, modifications to the agenda. I actually have several. Does anyone else?
No.
Okay. Off the bat, it should be noted that the Stratton School Board meeting is being held in tandem with the Stratton Select Board meeting. Number one, modifications remains the same. Number two is the same. Number three is the same. Number four is going to say is still discuss the fund balance, but underneath that, we have to discuss the lease agreement for the rec area. Number five is still review and sign the annual school district meeting warning, but under that, we have to have a discussion regarding article number 11. And in that, we will have a discussion with regard to the selectmen as well, or that will be sort of their section. Next, we will have number 6 now becomes cancel February meeting and schedule for the March meeting. Number 7 becomes any other business that may come before the board, and then we'll do the executive session for the superintendent evaluation at the end so that everybody can leave because that has to be done privately anyway. And that will be the end of the meeting. So those are the modifications. Any questions?
No.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Okay. Next, approve the meeting minutes from December 17th. Need a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Kelly.
Second.
Thank you, Devin. Any, all those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, those are good. Those are approved. Great. Meredith, do you usually tell Sue that those are no longer in draft format, or do I do that?
You do, but I can.
Okay, tell Sue. I just forgot. Sorry. Okay, review the order. There are actually 2. Okay, so the first one, Meredith has both of these. Thank you, Allison, for giving them to her. There is a small one containing 3 checks here. So you can pass that around, and I will pass the other one around. So borrow my pen. Sure, thank you. One thing to be noted, we did hear back from the state this month regarding a residency application that we had denied, and we defended up with the state. They gave residency to the Ivanov family. But when it came back, SMS is requesting payment for both this year and last year. And that was not on the table as far as I understood it when it went up to the state. So that's a point of clarification that we need from our attorney Hans to go back and just get that point of clarification. So since he did get approval for this current one that we just disputed, we should, in my opinion, pay that. We have to honor that. But I do want to, as Allison brought it up, she found it, of course, because she's amazing, question the payment of last year's tuition. So when you go through this, what you're signing off on is her having crossed out that first payment and approving only the second one. So that's what you're signing off on.
Allison, this is Bob. Do you want me to connect with Hans on that?
Please.
Yep, we'll do, and I'll CC you.
Thank you. That would be amazing. So wait a minute, this is going to be, okay, Bob to talk to Hans. Sweet. And I have to say, Hans did a really, really nice job defending us with that. And that was sort of a surprise decision that came down. So definitely, we got our money's worth on that one because he did a great job. As that's going around, discuss the use of the fund balance to offset the tax rate increase. And that, I believe,
Heidi wants it, or
if Heidi wants it, oh yeah, that's Heidi maybe.
So Allison and I
or Ally and I spoke regarding the fact that the state has come out with a number of suggestions and visions for what's going to happen to school districts. In light of the concern that will happen in the next few years, well, 3, 4, 5 years maybe, the fact that your school board has accumulated $1.3 million in fund balance, I think, and Ally and I have talked that it would be a good idea to use some of that fund balance for the current year as well as for the next fiscal year to buy down the tax rate and to remove some of the income revenue that is coming in and have it go to the town instead regarding the PILT grant and the lease that you're going to discuss about the rec center. So I have removed it from the revenue for FY26. It doesn't change your expenditure budget, so that information for your warning should all still be accurate, but it will use 288,000 of your 1.365 million to keep your tax rate at the 93 cents that it was for the current fiscal year.
Heidi, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we actually have 1.5 in reserve. We have the tuition reserve fund and then we have the other fund balance that's not assigned at this point. So I think the two combined was closer to 1.5 million.
Yeah, you had 146,000 in the general fund.
Okay.
I do believe, and I sent you the fund balance, Ally, that you are currently going to deficit spend with your current year anyways. So
Okay.
yes, you have that 146,000 as well that I'm looking at out of the general fund from last year.
Okay.
Does that match what you?
Yes, that was what I
Yeah,
had.
I was just referring to the tuition reserve fund, but yes, thank
Okay.
you for that clarification.
So what are we doing here?
Well,
Can I speak up here?
Yeah, go ahead, Ken.
Okay, just as a point, the selectmen on Monday night did transfer the PILT, decided to keep the PILT into the general fund, so that's taken care of.
perfect. For the current fiscal year as well as next year, or the plan for next year.
Exactly. It's basically a vote and it stays in the general fund for the town unless they change their mind down the road.
Okay, great. So it will create more of deficit spending for this year. So what I told Ally was that I really need the board just to make a motion and to understand that, one, you'll be deficit spending because I think the auditors are going to want to make sure they have something in writing with the acknowledgement that this decision was made with the board's planning and knowledge. And then I just want a motion also for the fiscal year 26 with the understanding that we are using $288,000 of fund balance to buy down the tax rate for fiscal year 26. Does that make sense?
So that needs a motion?
I would feel better about it, just to make sure that we have something in the minutes.
And before you make that motion, the deficit spending for this year, if you guys approve this when you talk about the lease, we're also recommending that you waive the monthly rental fee for the rec area, which is $10,000 a month.
Mhm.
If you make that change immediately, that would be another $50,000 of deficit spending, which would further spend down that large fund balance.
So should we wait to motion on the deficit spending until we talk about the lease and then go back to make that motion?
Well, this would affect the use of fund balance and would acknowledge the fact that you're intentionally deficit spending this year. So I don't know. I don't have an answer.
I think you might be right. Why don't you have the lease discussion and then we'll just come back and do the both motions at the same time.
Okay, all right. Meeting logistics of this caliber are a little bit over my head, I'm gonna be honest. So I'm gonna work my way through this one. We'll figure it out as we go. So we need to have the discussion of the lease, which went somewhere.
I
Ken has it.
will, if you don't mind, I'll address that for you.
Mhm.
Okay, so because of the potential changes that the state may make to the school districts and such, we wanted to cover a couple of things that we could. So anyway, so the first thing is an amendment to the lease agreement between the town and the select board. And this particular amendment makes two different changes. First of all, if there is a delay in the actual transfer of the property back to the town, then the work at the recreation area, which is covered by a potential grant that's in effect, needs a 25-year lease. So that changed this to a 25-year lease to cover that requirement by the state and the feds. This also then adds a change to, it gives the school board the ability to waive accepting the lease and the lease payment.
Yeah.
So number 3 of the lease agreement reads rent and holding over. The leasee hereby convey covenants and agrees to pay leaseor for the use of said described lands the sum of $120,000 per year, payable in monthly installments of $10,000 on a triple net lease basis. This is what's added. The leaseor shall have the authority to waive rent from leasee in the event that the waiver serves the best interest of the town and the town school district. Those are the two changes. So I would recommend at this point that you get a motion to approve the change to the lease agreement from the school board.
Do we want to just get rid of the property and give it to you guys? Does that make more sense?
We're not, that will be happening, but at this point, because
This is where we want to be.
we just in case that doesn't happen right away, what I was saying before,
This is, yeah.
then it gives us a chance. What's going to happen here? Let me take another step backwards here. Is that in the at town meeting and the school district meeting, there's going to be votes. We've got an article in each of the warnings to agree, have the voters allow for a transfer of that property.
Okay.
That can happen at any time, at some point in the future when it seems to be necessary. If everything falls through and it doesn't happen, then you'll still
Then it
have the
doesn't matter.
ability to hold on to it and collect the lease amount.
Okay.
So
We're just preemptively.
we're covering all our bases. We'll approve this amendment. And then we'll go ahead and get permission through the articles in the two warnings to do that transfer at some.
So who signs this? All 5 of
Okay,
us?
so what you need to do is get have a
We have
vote
the
and get an
vote, yeah.
approval to do it, and
Yeah.
then they give the chair
Authority
authority
signing
to
it.
sign for that.
Okay, here we go. So I need a motion to approve the lease as
Said lease
presented, to approve said lease agreement as written and grant authority to the chair to sign off on it.
Yes.
Did you get that, Meredith? Are you good there?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, so I need that motion, please. Thank you, Kelly. Can I have a second? Second. All those in favor?
Hi.
Any opposed? Joe's out there in TV land. I didn't get an aye or a nay. or
Yeah,
a-
I approve.
Okay, thank you. Motion carried to approve this amendment to the lease agreement and for me to sign it as the lessor.
So moved.
Thank you. Well, Kelly actually moved. You're a step behind. You're just sorry. I think there's a lag.
And I believe if you guys would like to make the decision to waive lease payments immediately, now would be the proper. time
Now
to
would
do
be the
that.
moment to do that. So that goes back to our original discussion under number 4. I signed
Yep.
that.
And if you don't mind,
Yeah.
if we could just interrupt a little bit
Yeah.
and coordinate with the selectmen for them to make the same motion and
Oh,
approval.
yep,
So
sure.
need a motion to approve the lease agreement. So moved. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, And Al will be able to sign that.
Okay, so that's all set. So then we have to move back into the top part of number 4. And this, what's this? What do we say here? I didn't spell.
You are
Okay,
going,
go ahead.
you're gonna make a motion to waive the rec area lease payments effective immediately.
Until
Until-
further notice.
Another change is made down the road. I don't know what. the
Or until
perfect
further
is.
notice.
Correct.
So we are making a motion to waive the monthly rec area.
With the understanding that this will result in deficit spending for
Perfect.
fiscal year 25.
Okay, Meredith, here we go. Alice is gonna say that again for you.
The school board makes a motion to waive the monthly lease payments for the rec area immediately with the understanding that this will result in deficit spending for fiscal year 25.
Got that, Meredith?
And we're waiving it to.
Indefinitely.
Indefinitely.
We're waiving it indefinitely. Okay, I think it's being recorded, so she should be good. I need a motion to approve that, please.
So
I'm gonna give that one
Yeah,
to
go.
Melissa. Can I have a second, please? Joe, you want to chime in here? Are you,
Second.
we don't want to leave you out. Joe, okay. All those in favor?
I
Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you, Joe. Any opposed? Hearing none. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Okay, motion carried for that. But then
Can,
there's another motion here.
well,
Okay.
all we need, I think, at this point is just to have a mutual agreement between the two boards to include the articles for the transfer of the,
Sir, you are jumping
The
ahead to
number.
number 5.
I'm sorry.
Yes, yeah, we have someone from the WCSU doing the budget with
I
us
think you're-
tonight.
If we just have a mutual, this isn't we don't need a motion or anything, just a mutual
Just a
agreement.
We're-
We'll do
we-
it, And then we can get out of here.
I understand that, but we still have an open item on the floor for number 4.
Okay,
Yeah, so we just need to get through that piece first. Heidi, what was that thing right
So
there?
I would like some sort of an acknowledgement or a motion. I guess I would like a motion for the school board to agree to use 288,000 of your fund balance reserve, tuition reserve fund, to buy down the tax rate for fiscal year 26.
Oh, and that includes the rec area number that we talked about?
Right, it's irrelevant. We have a budget that is going to be printed and it doesn't include revenue because I've removed it. But I just would like, for future reference, a motion acknowledging that the board is planning to use 288,000 of your tuition reserve fund.
Okay, so we can go based off that. Can I get a motion for that, please? Thank you, Melissa. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Devin. Is there is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, so that gets us through number 4. So now, Kent, you want this is Article 11 you want to discuss under this?
yeah, for your warning, just an agreement that you guys are going to include it. And if you do so, then we can move on and get our meeting finished up quickly and get out of your way.
So is it in here already?
It is.
Okay, so we just you want us to just approve the warning?
You don't have to approve that right now.
Okay.
You can if you want, if it was down your agenda a little ways, however you
Okay.
want to do it.
So we're just
But
going
if,
to,
if you, basically, everyone seems to be in agreement that
Mhm.
that's going to be included.
okay,
So if you don't mind,
Sure.
for the selectmen, can I get a motion to approve the town warning for the March 4th, 2025 annual meeting? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
And the board members will sign that. Can I get a motion to adjourn the selectmen's meeting? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, selectmen's meeting is adjourned and we will leave you.
thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you in March. Okay, so what was Heidi? No, are we done? Are we done?
That's all I needed from you.
Oh, all right, so you're out?
Pam, but can I get one clarification? I noticed that this is considered your February meeting and you're not meeting until March. Does that mean you want all the bills to be held off? What do you want to
So-
do about financials?
Yeah, so we had to hold this meeting during because Kent needs the warning signed in a specific time, so it didn't make sense for us to just meet now and then meet again on Tuesday. So we're not going to do February. If you can give us, we're going to meet on town meeting day, which is usually what we do. Can
Okay,
we have all of our stuff for then? And maybe by that point too, Bob will have spoken with Hans and we'll have clarification on that other piece of the SMS bill as well.
okay, that sounds great. I
Yeah.
will convey that. Yep.
We tried to anticipate the fact that you
Bye.
wouldn't be signing
Good
checks
night.
in February. That's why you had an additional order.
Oh, that's the additional order. Okay. Yeah. So we had 2 orders for that reason. So see how efficient she is?
She is so on the
anticipated it.
ball. Don't ever
Yeah.
lose her.
Yeah, I know it.
Although I'd steal her away in a millisecond.
Yeah, don't think about it, please. You can walk away from that one. Hang on, I have to
Okay.
turn off the selectmen's. Let me just retitle this for them. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do 17 things and this is select, and what's today, the 29th?
Yeah.
Select. Sorry, I just don't want to mess Kent up at all. He's also another extremely efficient person.
I bet.
All right, so that's good. All right, so I did that for them. That's good. Here we go. God, where were we? Great. This is the, oh no, we have to review and sign the annual school district meeting warning. So that being said, we got in our mountain school at Win Hall, requested tuition. We got in our, Burton. We got that. All the tuitioning stuff already came in. That's good. We have in here our expenditures, which were the same anyway. And then education's, okay, yeah. And then the town. Okay, yeah, so this was good. And then we just have that Article 11 piece where we're agreeing to the conditions that the select board just set forth.
Correct.
Okay, so we're gonna sign this bad boy and then Kent will be happy. All right, I'll pass this around. Warning is signed.
Do we need? Yeah, boy.
Oh.
Sorry,
Okay.
and do we need to move on this?
No, I don't
Sign.
know. A motion is not necessary for a warning approval, correct? Oh, I don't know. Do we need, I don't know, Mark's here. Mark is sometimes good with those questions. If he's still listening, he might be able to tell us if we need to.
Yes, you do need a motion for that.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the warning as presented, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Kelly. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Melissa. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Warning approved for the March town meeting. Thanks, Mark. All right, so that's going ahead being signed. Now this, okay, this was quicker than I thought it was gonna be. Joe, I think you're in good shape here, man.
If
Where's my pen? Okay, I need a pencil. So we have to switch around. We actually have to cancel our February meeting because it's always warned as being the first Tuesday of the month. So we are not going to meet on February 4th because that does not make any sense to do. And so normally we meet on town meeting day immediately after the school board or the school district meeting and town meeting. So that would happen on March 4th. So if you guys are okay with that, I'm going to go ahead and cancel that February meeting and move our next meeting to March. My pencil's not gone. Okay. All right. So I'll do that. Yes. So March 4th will be our next meeting date. And that does not have a time. It is listed as being immediately following the annual district meeting.
Okay.
So we don't even have to leave. We'll be there. And who needs to be reelected this year? Not you?
We both were last year.
What?
I think we
Oh, no,
both
it's not.
were.
No.
last-
It's on Kent's cheat sheet. that
It's
he
on
sent.
Kent's cheat sheet. Yeah.
I can look it up. real
No,
quick.
that's okay.
Probably me.
Might be, well, you're every year, right? You and Joe are
Yeah.
every year, so you would need to be, but one of us is up.
I think we both were last year.
Okay, then maybe I
Okay,
think I
so
have another
maybe you're
year.
up.
I think I've got another year.
Okay, so just you then. And-
Okay, so that's cool. All
And
right.
did Joe have to be reelected even though he was just.
Expires this year.
Who?
Allison. And I think Joe's.
Yeah, there's no way.
I
You're,
thought I had another year, and then I was going to announce that I was not going to be running again.
What?
Yeah, so I was that way, because I wouldn't
you've got
leave.
one more year.
I would do another
Take
year.
you.
Yeah.
Before all these crazy changes.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're
Well,
just,
I think we all.
yeah, well,
Changes, only one representative.
Right?
so any more business that can legally come before the board? I don't, is there any more business? I don't know, Bob? Oh, God, do you have anything to say? Here we go.
Well, I was just going to mention I did the VSA group. We did have a meeting with Secretary Saunders and Deputy Secretary Jill Briggs Campbell the day after the governor's announcement, and we were able to ask some questions. And there's not a lot of details, as you know, yet from this proposal. But the one thing that I want to share with you guys specifically is that the question was asked about choice and how would choice be impacted by this potential 5 districts and, whatever, smaller schools closing and regional things and so on and so forth. And what she said was, her response was, in essence, she did not foresee any changes to choice. And so that's, obviously none of the legislation has been written for this yet. It wouldn't be the AOE writing that legislation. But that's what she and the governor foresee as no changes happening in choice. So I thought I would share that with you guys because I thought it would be news you'd want to hear.
Did they say anything specific about non-operating districts? Because that seems to be, that language is always curiously missing from everything. And then we always wind up out in the abyss somewhere and having no direction.
Yeah, well, I've heard 2 things. The proposal references 5 districts only, and they're these like super huge regional districts. And Stratton would be part of this, what they're calling the Southeast region, which goes from, like White River Junction to Brattleboro to Stamford and up to you guys. And like this enormous, there's like 10 existing SUs that would be in that.
That is not based on geography whatsoever.
Well, I mean, it's a bunch of SUs in the Southeast region put together. So, but the other thing that I've heard rumors of from the legislative side is that there was conversation about if there was some mergers between SUs, that maybe there would be a sort of a collective of non-operating that would be merged into a single non-operating. So I've heard that rumor as well. I don't know what any of it means as far as this goes, but as Heidi said, like they're saying 3 years. I don't anticipate anything happening that quickly. And particularly if, once they start tinkering with local control of things, and then there's an election in 2 years, you just don't know how all this is going to change. So
and the other thing that has to do with choice is that they can leave the laws as they stand, but the choice of choice is actually left up to the districts. And if we are forcibly merged, they can literally look at us and say, well, we have a high school.
Yeah, well, currently the language in the law is that if you're in a district that operates a high school, which if you would be if you were in the super district, then you can't have choice. And so, which now only applies to districts, right? Like Jamaica can't have choice because they're part of the West River District, which has a high school. So, but how that would be modified if there were these super big districts and fewer of them, and how that would impact choice, particularly for places that are more, outlying like you guys are not only on the edge of that super district, but not near any high schools, especially if Leland and Gray was subject to close based on their concept of, these regional bigger high schools. So who knows? I think there's just nothing to panic about yet. I'm following it very closely. The VSA is following it very closely. VSBA is also sending out alerts about it regularly. And we'll just keep talking. Every month something happens. We'll just keep updating you guys and, express whatever concerns you have or what your needs are or wants are to your state legislators and senators. And that's probably the best way to get your opinions out there. So
Okay. Thanks. I was hoping we were going to glaze over this one today because this
no,
one's
I mean,
going to keep me up
simple.
at night.
Not much to say really. So just
Yeah.
shoot questions my way if you have them, and that's all I need.
All right, Bob. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We're going to do your super evaluation. I don't know. I didn't look. I gave Rich all the information. I think you were just kind of waiting on boards to do their thing.
Yeah, I think he had told me that there were a couple of principals that didn't submit, and there was some central office people that didn't submit. So Sue has resent that out to those groups. And I
Okay.
think at this point, we're just waiting on boards. So
Okay.
I will sign off and let you guys have fun with that. And I wish you all a happy February.
Anything else? Yeah. Okay. Thanks. And we'll see you. We'll see you. Oh, wait. Mark has his hand up.
I just want to remind you that one of your senators is Nader Hashim, and he sits on the Senate Education Committee. So he's a very good person to relay your thoughts to.
Yeah.
Good
Okay.
point. Yep.
Not our sham. Okay. All right. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that. I think that's good. We're not going to adjourn, but I am going to need from someone. So everybody else, Bob can go, Candy can go. I will excuse Allison. Mark can go. Thank you, Mark, for coming. Meredith, you can go. I will tell you the times of the executive session. So you don't have to click back on. Okay.
Can I ask two quick questions before you?
Yeah.
One is, how much of the select board conversation do I need to include in the minutes? Do they do their own minutes?
They do their own minutes, and
Right.
I will get the link for that because we should link it to our minutes, but I don't think you need to go
Okay.
into detail.
Okay, and then number two is, do you want me at that meeting after the annual meeting? Last year, I think you didn't.
No, because it's very quick. It's basically putting in whoever needs to be put in, and signing an order and stuff. And we're going to record it and I'll just send it to you. We try not to do anything heavy after that one. We try to
But you
make
don't meet me at the annual meeting.
I'm talking about at the annual meeting because that's, yeah.
No, either of them, though. I can do the
No.
recording of our meeting, but the
Nope.
annual
Oh,
meeting.
I'm sorry. I understand what you're saying now. Kent does the recording for our school district meeting.
Perfect. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks, Meredith. So I need you to read this.
State my name or just I?
Kelly is fine. I move. Yeah, go ahead.
I, Kelly, Leah Laskin, move to enter into executive session for the purpose of evaluating the superintendent under, do I say all that? 1 VSA 313A3.
Thank you. The time now is 6:49, and I am going to pause recording as we enter into executive session. Where's the recording button? Pause. Okay, we are out of executive session at 7:19, having completed the superintendent's 24-25 evaluation. At this point, I need a motion to adjourn at 7:19.
So move.
Thank you, Kelly. Can I have a second? Thank you, Devin. And that concludes the Stratton. This was a wacky one. Was it February, March, January? What was this? We don't know.
We had it all.
We did. You want to stop?